would you do me a solid, Mr. Allbright, and please introduce yourself?
You say introduce myself, or what would you say?
Yes, please, Mr. Allbright.
Cut out.
I apologize. The internet in Alaska is sketchy at best.
No worries. So I guess I'm a truther, I'm a digital soldier. I'm a meme artist. I'm a extremist, they call they content creator. I'm heavily banned and shadow banned. It's but I still do it. I still got a lot of followers on Facebook. I'm currently in Facebook jail now, but it's just something I do part time. I spend a lot of time just research. I've been researching things for over 15 years, and I feel called to it. To be honest with you, to speak the truth, and I do it all. I just do it all the time, and. I don't know. I've wanted to do a podcast. And trying to get settled in where I'm going, and I've been thinking about doing a podcast myself.
Okay.
Just whenever I get around to it, I'm going to get to it.
How did you?
But I guess that's me in a nutshell right now.
I'm sorry, Mr. Allbright.
Say that again.
I'm sorry, Mr. Allbright. Zoom timing is an issue. It's one of the big issues with having to do everything over the internet nowadays. One of the features that I like to use on Zoom is the chat function. So while you're speaking, if you're on a topic, I can just send you a message and you can add to what it is that you're talking about. So my question then becomes is how did you fall into truthing? How did you come into it?
Okay, so let's say 15 years ago, I had a friend who said, "Man, you got to watch this documentary." It was called Zeitgeist, and I was like, "Okay." And so I watched the first part. The first part was about how the Bible and all that stuff's not real and all that kind of stuff. And at the time, I was like raised in a really religious church. Like I went to a really super religious church, and I was like wanting to get away from it because it's just the extreme nature of the life that they want you to live. It really pushed me away. I still had belief, I still had faith, but I just didn't attend church. And then I saw this. And I watched that part, and then they're like, oh, all that's a lie. And then they're like, chapter 2, 9/11. And I'm like, oh my God, I couldn't even handle anything beyond what I just, I had to take that in. Really, that was really the beginning. Now, I'm not an atheist. I became one though. I'm not an atheist now, but that truth led me to discovering the real truth, because religion is not what the truth is. I had to let go of religion, and being honest, just my commitment and my I truly seek the truth, and it's not coincidence that it finds me. It's put in front of me, and I find it. And I'm not even qualified to know the things I know. I don't have some former education and like all these other people, which is a bunch of bullshit anyways. It doesn't really mean anything, But I think that's the start of it. 9/11 and Building 7 really opened my eyes. I couldn't explain Building 7. And this was 15 years ago. I'm like, oh my God, Building 7. Why did Building 7 go down? No plane hit that. That really started just what else is a lie. So I hit the reset button on everything that I thought I knew. Everything. And that's the thing you got to do. When you realize that the programming starts in kindergarten, it starts in first grade. you got to go way back. You got to question everything you think you know. History, you know, that they say the news is fake. Man, imagine how bad history is. Okay, so you need to really examine and verify everything for yourself. You can't just believe what someone else is telling you. You can't. And man, this thing is just built into, I mean, just opened my eyes to wow, you know, so much deception, so much. But it's really a hobby, really is what's become you know, people watch TV. I research, you know, this silly conspiracies and test them out. And I'm like a scientist. I'm like, you know, a lawyer. And I'm proving cases and that kind of stuff. I debate people and that kind of stuff. So I guess that's kind of how it all started and what it's become.
So I think that leads us to how we got here. Someone posted, we connected on Instagram, and someone said, "Is Hunter Allbright the fake space guy?" We can talk about Tower 7. I'd love to talk about Tower 7 because I live in Alaska. I know about the report that came from the University of Alaska Fairbanks, from the Architectures and Engineers for Truth, and we can talk about that. But I'm curious about space is fake. I'm not here to debate you. I am here to be informed.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, great. So space, you know, a lot of the truth led me to, now I can, you know, a lot of stuff's biblical, but we don't have to go there necessarily. But I mean, just to say it is a historical document that has truth to it. You know, the Bible claims the truth, the earth is flat over 200 times. Okay, so that's just one aspect of it. Okay, now they got these flat earthers that think it's crazy and all that nonsense, you know. But space is fake. That's true. There is no space, and it's kind of like you played Monopoly, right? In Monopoly, the goal of the game is to get a monopoly, right? Well, if NASA had a monopoly, it's space research, and you got to go to them to know anything. They own everything. They control the fairy tale. And when you say, oh, this doesn't make sense, they can create a new fairy tale to prove the existing fairy tale as legitimate. And they create these big numbers. So like the human mind can't even comprehend anything in the millions. It's just scientifically proven. I mean, real science here now. So they like to use these big numbers. Everything's in big numbers, light years away and billions of miles away. And we're like a speck in this infinite universe. And there's, you know, blah, 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 and all this nonsense. But what you have to understand is all these people who tell you everything you think you know about space historically to today, every single one of them was a Freemason, all the way from the, you know, Kepler, Isaac Newton, all these astrologers, all Freemasons, all verified. Every astronaut, Freemason. Every person who's ever been to space, Freemason. So you need to question, like, and what do Freemasons do? What do they're good at secrets. I'll tell you that. You know, they keep secrets, and that's in fact what their entire job is. Space. That's all they're supposed to do, is make sure you don't understand what's happening in space, what's happening, what the shape of Earth is, what's going on, and all that stuff. That's their entire job. You know, just prove what the shape of Earth is, or what the hell's going on in space without NASA I mean, you gotta, you know, what do? You gotta go to them. They have the monopoly on what the hell's going on. So that's a dangerous thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, we could break down NASA. I mean,
well, we can do that.
In Hebrew means to see.
We can talk about Operation Paperclip.
So
we can break it down. We can get real dark, real quick. We can talk about Walt Disney's relationship with a certain occultist scientist who is one of the founders of NASA, Werner von Braun. All right, so I want to know why Walt Disney was participating in moon landing stuff. What does the master of the Imagineers have to do with fucking space? So, I'm sorry, I don't mean to curse. But these are real questions. Now, I'd like to ask you a question that I'm sure you've probably thought about and addressed before. But how do you reckon with aliens with space is fake? Are we talking interdimensional stargates, or are we talking about something else?
So aliens are what aliens are. They're hybrid humans, hybrid beings. They are satanically created, hybrid human beings. So this is also what everything is, from Bigfoot to mermaids to whatever. All these different things. They're weird looking humans. They're crossbreeded things. This all goes down to pre-flood. Okay, Noah. Angels had sex with women. They produced Nephilim. Okay, hybrid humans. All right. So everything is a crossbreeded creation. They're out of the original design, out of God's original creation. Okay, they're demonically possessed, and they'll say, "Oh, this an alien or this or that." That's a lot of it's the spirit realm. We're seeing things like UFOs. If you break down, I've seen UFOs before, other people have too. Like it, you think, oh, it doesn't look like it's like a manned or a being spaceship. It looks like a light, and it doesn't even look like it's in the same dimension. It's like a flat, like a flat shape, like a circle, and it's moving, and it's defying gravity. It's like going fast, stops on a dime. It's doing whatever the hell it wants to do. It doesn't do what planes would do. So I think a lot of that stuff's just we're seeing into the spirit realm. There is a war taking place, okay, that we cannot see between good and evil. They got angels, they got demons, they got fallen angels, all this kind of craziness going on in a different world that we're not able to see. And sometimes we see glimpses of it and things like that. But it's so important. The alien narrative is so important to keep for the future. They need you to, and they're prepping us for a alien invasion right now. It's a fake CGI alien invasion. They're prepping us for it.
I like that you brought this up. This is a conversation that I have also had recently in the last few months and years, is the preparation for the fake alien invasion. And it's fake because the aliens have always been here. And when you explain that to people, it's sort of like explaining things, telling people this is what's going to happen. You're going to find this out. And I have a buddy of mine that does my merchandise. He said, Bill, talking to you is like finding out what's going to happen in 3 months. And I've been saying this for years. The big reveal is going to be the fake alien invasion. And it's going to be fake for the same reason that a lot of other things are fake. And it's because there's this control aspect. And when you start, and going back to Werner von Braun, saying that the last thing that comes is the fake alien invasion, because that's when you know that they are losing control. Everything really is the Wild West. Real life is becoming the Wild West. I believe that is part of the reason to push us into the box to exist in the fake world. Now they've created this fake world in our phones and in our computers that we have built lives and exist on. And now we get to go fulfill those lives in the fake world, and you can be the idealized perfect person. Here's a question for you, but that no one ever wants to address. Do you think that Mark Zuckerberg decides to make his dick bigger in the metaverse? I mean,
man,
there's these guys are evil jerks, and a buddy of mine, Sean Chris over at Kill the Mockingbirds podcast, made a really good point in that Mark Zuckerberg is pushing the fake world. He's pushing a fake universe. Meanwhile, he just bought an extra 117 acres in Hawaii. These folks are buying more and more space in places like Alaska, like Hawaii, because they're nice places to actually be. That's why I went to Port Chatham, Port Locke this summer to hunt for the Port Chatham hairy man. And what I realized is when you go out on a Bigfoot hunt with the best of intentions, you're going to have a great time. You're probably not going to see the guy, but you and your buddies are going to have the best time ever. Pure intentions, my friend.
Yeah.
But I think that what they're trying to do is buy ridiculous plots of land in the real world. Meanwhile, they can confine us to these small little lives in the fake world, right? Where you can buy your tokens and buy your chips in the real world so that you can make your life even cooler in the fake world. The imaginary property around Snoop Dogg's house is upwards of 1.3 million real dollars for fake property. It's not like you get to go visit Snoop's house. You don't get to do that. You get to drive up. You get to take your fake car up to his fake house and see what it looks like on the outside, because I promise you that even in the fake world, he's got some kind of security. How do you it just is what it is. But they're an elite technocracy who want to put us into a smaller box. That's why I hate the term think outside of the box. The only people that think inside of a box or outside of a box are people who have bought into the big box BS. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, all that's true. They're pushing us towards that,
What are the questions that you regularly get asked about fake space that you can answer, that you'll what are the questions when people try to play stump the chump with you, and like they do with flat earth? Well, what about this? What is your response to them?
Well, a lot of, I've positioned myself so much that nobody even really challenges me much these days, to be honest with you. I don't really even get into much, because most people they're not even playing the game of life. They're NPCs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's like, man, it's like a lot of energy to waste somebody. It's like not even playing the game. They're not even. They're really just writing an algorithm. In the realness of it, they're not even a real person. They're no different. I mean, like the Matrix is real. So am I supposed to waste all my time with this this person who truly is not in control? They do what they're told. They wake up, they go work, then they watch CSI Miami and all that nonsense on TV, and then they go to bed, and then they're like, oh, Earth's round because NASA says so. Oh, I've seen it on TV. And it's like, so I really don't get much questions. It really just depends on, I feel somebody out on what their beliefs are, and then I play with that, really. If someone's a Christian, it's an easy thing to just destroy. I say, well, you can either accept the Bible or destroy it, because it's the Flat Earth Bible. It's a Flat Earth book. NASA is a big one. I just destroy NASA. I say, well, this is the biggest proponent to what they've defined, what space is. So I just destroy NASA. I can destroy NASA at every level. We supposedly landed on the moon, 1978. And then Nixon's on the phone, like Buzz Aldrin. And he's like on a landline, talking to Buzz and Neil Armstrong. Look at the I'm talking to you from Texas to Alaska, and there was 1978. There is zero. This is like live stream. 1978. He's talking to freaking Neil Armstrong on the moon. There's no feedback, no nothing, no. I mean, so and it's really great if you rewatch the whole thing. You got to rewatch the whole thing. He has a picture uh in the Oval Office of them on the moon, and a picture of them from the moon taking a picture of Earth from the moon. I'm like, who the hell put that on the wall?
Stanley
They're on the
Kubrick.
moon now. How does he have a framed picture? It's like in the background, you know, total nonsense. And then the moon buggy. Have you seen this moon buggy? Oh my god! They folded that thing up supposedly, and it was on the lunar module.
Okay.
And then do you see those big ass gloves? They said they assembled it. Let me tell you, man, there ain't no assembling that. I mean, I'm telling you, it's total nonsense. All the way up to when they leave the moon, you can see the footage. Apparently, they left somebody on the moon because there's a cameraman on the moon that shows the lunar module just go straight up, and it shows the camera, and it's just going straight up. So obviously, they left someone behind. But it's total nonsense. They've been lying about. I mean, there's all the way from in 2013, you had an astronaut almost drowned to death. Do you remember that?
No. No.
So have you ever heard that story? Oh man, let me tell you about this real quick. I forgot his name, but it's Luca Parmento. In 2013, he's supposedly on the ISS. Okay, and they're always floating on the ISS, working with wrenches and shit while they're supposedly revolving around Earth 1,000 miles an hour. You know, total nonsense. But anyways, he's out there supposedly on ISS. Okay, and he's like, "Oh, I got some water coming into my mask, into my suit." And they said, so then some guy, obviously isn't in on the lie, says, "Is it sweat buildup?" And then he says, "No, it's definitely not sweat buildup." And then another guy says, "Yeah, it's definitely not sweat buildup." Some other guy says it, obviously, because what are they doing? So what they're doing is they're filming this stuff in a pool. They're filming all this stuff in a pool. What happened was there was a hole in his suit. Pressure coming in. He almost drowned. The next thing you know, supposedly, he's at Memorial Methodist Hospital, Houston Methodist Hospital. So he got from ISS to the Methodist Hospital, almost died, and he didn't die. And so there's this constant, but they do heavy. I'm talking heavy work to hide all this stuff. But if you look it up, you can find this stuff. I mean, all the way to Bush Sr. A great one to look up is Bush Sr. Went and visited NASA, okay? And they were pushing him around on the wheelchair. And in the background, you can see the just like what you have, a green screen, a blue screen in the back. And it shows an astronaut. He's like playing with his tennis ball, okay? And then you showed that day, they showed him playing with this big glob of water. He's like, "Oh, look, it's no gravity." I mean, they're filming it right there with the green screen. You can see the green screen in the background. So it's all green screen. It's all CGI. It's Freemasons do the whole thing. It's a Nazi organization founded by Nazis after World War II. Nazis run the whole thing. There's still the problem we have today. We're dealing with Nazis. I mean, you look into this, and the worst of it all is this: every number surrounds the shape of Earth is a 666. Every to the axle, Earth's axle tilt is 66.6. The drop rate is 0.666 feet per mile. I mean, we're supposedly traveling through space at 66,666 miles per hour. I mean, it's just total. I mean, you just analyze all of these things. You look at these things. I've seen so many footage of air bubbles in space traveling through the screen. You'll just see and it's an air bubble because why? They're in water. That's how they're able to do the no gravity look and everything's heavy and all this stuff. And it's all shot underwater, and that's how everything's done. And So it's like, why would they lie? This is the big question you ask me. Like, what do people ask? Why would they lie? Why would they lie about this? It seems silly, right? Why would they lie about all this? And the big question is, if we knew about the truth about what's really going on, we wouldn't accept their fake alien invasion that they're fixing to run on our asses. Okay. They're going to run a fake alien invasion, Project Bluebeam. Okay. It's a CGI show. Why are they doing that? Why are they doing that? Because let me tell you, the fallout of this vaccine thing, when everybody in the world knows we got totally fucked on this vaccine and it's killing people, and it's an undisputed thing. Everybody in the world knows it. They need a worldwide event distraction that got everybody like, look at this. It's just like, hey, over here now, so that's what it's going to be. And it's, they're prepping us for it, because from the government now supposedly is showing us UFO footage. Why the hell would they ever be upfront about anything with this ever? They're like, oh, we need to tell y'all about the UFO footage that these sailors and guys in the Air Force seen. And they're like, oh, we have some other ones we need to tell you. You got Tucker Carlson on, on Freemason News telling you about how, the aliens, the UFOs. I mean, they're telling you, they're preparing us for what this is. Okay. And that's why it's so important that we believe in this. We're a speck in multiple, in a infinite universe, and who knows what the hell's going on. Because if that's the case, if that's what you believe, you are so going to believe the bullshit that's coming. You will have no clue. You'll think they're actually aliens from a different planet. And boy, who knows what they're going to do with all that. But it's definitely coming, 100%. I don't know exactly when, but I guess when enough people wake up, they're going to need something to get the attention off of them. Because if they don't do that, there'll be mobs and mobs of people be breaking into to people like Bill Gates, Fauci, the Clintons, doing crazy shit, mad as you can imagine. I mean, just mad. I'm dying here. And these people are going to be crazy. They need something to distract them. So that's what it's about. That's why they lie. That's what the whole point is. Were you going to say something?
Oh, I was just rolling with you and breathing. Like everything that you said. My only question is, what is the timetable that we're looking at? Because I do believe that we are looking at the very same thing. I think that we're looking at, the great thing about right now is we live in the time of pick your own apocalypse, right? Whatever you want it to be can be the end game that we're going to see. But in my honest opinion, the folks that have been telling me that this other thing is going to happen, and they like 3 months before. I do think that we're going to have way more confirmation before the summer comes. But my then question is to Americans and to the rest of the world, really, is, of any of our like fake BS liar leaders, right? Any of our puppet heads of state, do you want any of them talking to aliens? I mean, if we're going to buy their story, if we're going to believe the story that they are going to sell us, do we want any of those people to be the ones like, they've lied to us? What are you expecting? Like, and I do think a lot of it is going to be the blowback, because it goes to that 1984 theory of there is no past, there is no future, there is only now, and the state's always right. And we're getting more and more trapped into this matrix, like we were discussing earlier, of how we communicate. Right. And those systems of communication are going to change. You're seeing real social credit scores. And not just in China. You're seeing them in the United States. When folks are going in for a job interview, you better believe that those employers are checking out your Facebook page. It's what we do, and it's the honest truth of the world.
I know about it.
I'm with you. I think the fake alien invasion is coming, and I think that if you spent the last year and a half really believing that the people that tell you that they care about you really do care about you, you're going to buy the next one too, right? Because what's going to happen is they'll say, you know what, you got to stay where you are unless you're vaccinated. You're not going to be able to fly on a national flight, right? Means you're more or less stuck where you are.
Yeah.
Pretty soon it's going to be, well, you can't travel by your own vehicle to this other town. You're going to have to, like, you're crossing a country, right? Like you're crossing a state line where you're going to have to get a stamp on your passport that says that you're up to date on all of your shots, like you're your fucking dog, right? If you want to go through Canada, you got to make sure you have your rabies shot within the last 90 days. It's going to be like that. But to go to Ohio.
Oh yeah, it's funny you bring up rabies. Rabies is a great example of 1950 to 1964. There was 0 cases of rabies. All right. Then the old Yeller movie comes out, or somewhere around in that time period. But then, out of nowhere, they institutionalized the rabies shot, and every dog's got to get it. And you got to get it every year, and it just comes out of nowhere. And then all the sheep just do it, and they've been doing it for years. So people are like, how do they get away with this the COVID vaccine? Well, the test was the rabies shot. It's a over drawn out thing that people will be giving their dog rabies shots, and it's the most rarest thing ever to occur in nature, But I mean, that's just how it goes. But you asked like timetable. Okay, you asked a couple questions. So what's the timeline here? So if you take 2021, 2022, 2023, and you write 2021, 2022, 2022, and you add 1, 2, 3, 6, 0, 2, 2, 2. It is 666. So I think all this comes down in about 2023 is what I think is going to come down. The vaccine will do its thing by 2023, and I think that we're gonna. Well, I actually believe Biden on this. We got a hard winner. Now we don't have a hard winner, but there's going to be a crazy winner. I think everybody who's got the thingy. They can be remotely killed through keyboard. That's what I think. They can be taken out anytime. They're connected to the grid, 5G. So I think what we're actually looking at is a big death day. Big death day. They're gonna kill a bunch of people one day so they're letting all the people make fun of it right now, and just so they can do this big kill death day, and then they'll just report, even if the people were jabbed, they're gonna say they weren't. They're gonna lie like they always do. Then they're gonna say unvaxxed did this. Unvaxxed did this. There'll be a bunch of people die in a week's time period. I think we're definitely looking at that to make a statement. So they're not giving up on this jab thing just yet. They're gonna do it as much. They got people right now who were 10 shots committed. I mean, they're going 10 shots deep with this thing. They're not gonna stop. Now, what happens to someone who takes that many shots, right? And there's also, so how crazy is the future? The future also not only does it involve a alien invasion, we're looking at a zombie apocalypse, and I'm not even joking here. Okay, these people are taking all these jabs, DNA altered, and it's not like your typical zombie. It can be, but they have the graphene oxide or whatever is supposedly in this shot. Nanobots. So how many nanobots does it take to overtake someone? And also weakening the person. So man, people going 10 deep with this thing. What the hell they become? They're going to be remote controlled. We already know historically our government did MK Ultra testing and mind control, remotely connecting to these people and all those type of things. People, they're going to be controlling these people. They're going to be going crazy, definitely crazy. So I think, they're going to run this vaccine thing. And I'm going to tell you how important the vaccine is to them. They're willing to lose everything that they've gained in the past 2,000 years or whatever just to push it. They're going to lose the media. They're going to lose education. They're going to lose the medical industry. They're going to lose, you name it. They're going to lose it all. Governments, they're going to lose everything to push that thing, and they're going to do it till they why? So all these are facets of control. Well, they gain ultimate control with people who get the vax, who continue to get it. The more you get it, the more you're going to be under that spell, per se. Ultimate control. When people get this, because what ends up happening is you actually have to get it to stay alive. It's going to keep you alive for like 5 weeks or something like that. Then you have to get the next one, and you have to continually get them, and it's going to keep them in power and things like that. But once all that shit goes to like things get really bad, that's when I expect, you know. And I'll tell you this too, it's definitely going to happen between now and 2024, no doubt, because which I'm not even I used to be a huge Trump guy. I'm not a Trump guy anymore, because he continues to push the jab. Okay, but this is definitely going to all go down between the next election. Okay, because they can't have some real guy potentially going in there and fixing all this shit. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
So I thought about that as well. Trump pushing the jab, and so let's imagine that there is let's imagine that there is no additional, there's no evil conspiracy, and you're talking about a respiratory disease that that gets rid of people, generally speaking, above a certain age and above a certain well, with multiple comorbidities. And let's be honest, Trump was a guy who ate fried chicken and drank Diet Coke, right? Like, he wasn't a guy he's not a guy who's a fucking cross-country skier, right? Like, he's not doing things to keep himself in shape.
Sure.
If there is no grand conspiracy, he is a guy who that jab is made for, right? And so is Bill O'Reilly, because he's 160 years old and a fucking piece of shit anyway. So being said, like, that's who this is built for, right? That's who this vaccine is built for. If you are a relatively healthy person, and by that I mean you take walks and every meal's not a fucking Big Mac with a milkshake, you should be okay. It also helps if you're not 82. Something about the dismissal of natural immunity is bothersome to me.
Oh, yeah, they don't want anything natural. They want everything artificial, and that's what it is. And in a way, it ends up becoming a lifesaver to those who continue to get it. But I promise you this: the more you get it, I've also read this too. Once you get it, because it alters your DNA. That you are actually corporately owned. Any artificial DNA that's injected in you is you're owned. You're no longer even own your own body. So they are sacrificing everything to push this. And a move of this level can only be done from the most evil thing of all time. And that's what this move is. Why did they even do this thing, right? So, like, COVID was definitely a planned event, no doubt. So let's go back to, why was COVID ever even up here, right? Why? Well, some people say, for the election. And I don't even think that was what it was, because they just stole the election anyways. Freaking just stole it. And nobody did a damn thing about it. They stole the election, and everybody's like, okay, that's it. Joe Biden's the president. End of story, right? So I don't think that's what it was. But what it really was is they started losing control of everything. Small business was booming. People started to be like, I'm taking my kids at a public indoctrination school, or a public school, right? I'm taking my kids out of school. I'm going to start teaching them myself. People started making business, because really you get your name out online, and you don't have to go work for some other person. And everything all these control things, and even to the university level, were like, you don't need a college degree to be a millionaire. You don't need to, or to make a lot of money. You don't need this. I don't need to go to a hospital. I'm sick. I can holistically heal myself through this, and that, or detox and this and that. What happened is they started losing control of everything that they put all this energy to control us. And they said, we need something to get our control back. And we also need to destroy small business, because that's exactly what it did. It destroyed small business, and corporately, billionaires got richer and corporations got bigger. And it destroyed small. That's all. I mean, hundreds of thousands of small businesses here in Texas have been destroyed. Now, these small businesses took generations to build. I mean, it wasn't just like, you know, to build that following, or that that market, get your edge in there. I mean, it took generations to build that thing, and just like that, COVID came in, and not everybody has $1 million to wait out a pandemic like this. So coincidentally, BLM and things like that were going around. They were destroying small businesses. They were burning them down, just straight up burning them down. And it was a mostly white organization. Okay, so a bunch of white people were burning down black-owned businesses in the name of racism. When it boils down to it, and they were corporately funded. They were funded by IBM, Bank of America, Nike. All the corporations funded a mob to go around burning down people's businesses, right? And I tell you this: Malcolm X and MLK, they would have never been down for such a thing. So this is just to summarize it. This is an all-out attack on freedom, small business, the American dream, to regain control. And they get that control, ultimate control, with the vaccine. Ultimate control. Because now they say you can't go here, you can't do that if you don't have the vax. You can't do this if you don't abide in our thing. If you're not a part of us, and it's us and them. They're creating this us and them thing. But go ahead.
Well, I'm a vet, and one of the things that I get hit with all the time, because of my stance on this particular vaccine, is, well, like you were in the military and you got vaccinated for all kinds of things, and why is it that you're opposed to this one? It's a couple of different reasons. One of them is that I got stuck in that cycle of the flu shot, right? So for years and years, every year I was getting my flu shot, and then one year I decided, you know what, I'm not going to get it. I'm not going to get it. And that year I got a flu, almost died. It was very, very rough, because my body didn't know what it was doing. Like, it had come into contact with something that was really trying to kick its ass. Now, I haven't been sick since then, but I also don't necessarily, I try not to live the most sedentary lifestyle either. You get stuck in, I think you get stuck in this cycle of booster shots, and then it becomes, you're forever, like, your health is indebted to this shot. And that year that you decide, you know what, I'm not gonna buy into the cycle anymore, could be the one that really F's you up. So Hunter, I appreciate your time. I really do, sir. There are a bunch of things that I would really, really like to talk to you about some more. However, my son got on a roll, and so I owe him Mexican food, and I gotta go do dad stuff.
That's cool. All right, man. Well, I appreciate it.
I again, thank you very, very much for your time. There's more stuff that I'd like to talk to you about. I'm very interested in the technocracy. I'd like to talk. I'd really like to talk to somebody else about why George Bush was a terrible human being. Again, Mr. Allbright, thank you very, very much for your time. If folks are interested in your work, how do they get a hold of you? How do they find your stuff?
Well, you can follow me on Facebook. Well, you can. I'm at Brett Hunter Allbright on Facebook. Also on Instagram at Brett Hunter Allbright. I do TikTok, and but really Telegram's really where you want to find me at. Brett Hunter Allbright, and that's 2 L's on Allbright.
Very
that's the only
important.
place I can't be. Yeah, and I can't be. Well, I can't be censored so much on Telegram. I mean, I'm shadow banned on Instagram. I mean, I used to have so much. You know, I got like 3,500. But I mean, Facebook straight up just deletes friends from me and followers. They just unfollow people. They're like, "What happened? Did you? Why'd you ban me?" Like, I never banned you. I get it all the time. So the censorship's real, and I mean, it's outrageous. So you know, I don't know. I don't really have high hopes for the Trump truth, whatever social media either. You know, but Telegram seems to be the best way to get my work. You know, I make memes. I'm really more of a funny guy. I know I didn't really make much jokes this time, but most of my stuff is funny and jokes. But yeah, that's how you can find me, and I appreciate your time, brother.
The platform is always open for you, even if you want to tell jokes. I promote stand up here, so anytime you want to shoot, anytime you want to shoot the poop and make fun of the evil lizard people that control our lives. I mean, I've been making video after video about why Jeff Bezos is in love with an alien, and
I've seen that.
Yeah, so like I'm going hard on the lizard people. So, you know, like if anytime you want to make fun of them, I'm on team people all day. I am anti-lizard person all day long. So Mr. Allbright, brother, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your energy. Have the very, very best day ever. And I hope you have a great day in the great state of Texas.
Take care. Thank you for having me.
All right. Goodbye, sir.